But I always get the question now, well, coach, what about pad level? All right, my whole career, my whole life, everyone's always taught it's got to be chin under, helmet under chin. I've got to be lower. Low man wins. That's leverage. Okay, I get it. Talked about 45 creates that balanced position of power. Okay, the center of gravity is in a position to move the defender vertically while sustaining the block. Shoot, you might get more initial movement, but once that guy quick swims, once that guy push pulls, you're going to be on your face. We can stay connected with the 45. Okay, we can stay connected, and we believe we're stronger in that position. We're more powerful. Okay, the 345s, I talked about the joint centration, all that kind of stuff. But to me, this is one of the most important ones, especially, and I've been on this crusade, getting the head out of the block. All right, when you watch our tape and you look at our helmets, our guys don't have the old, you know, the battle marks, the scars on the front of the helmet. If anything hits, it's going to be the face mask. We're not hitting that frontal lobe 65 times in a football game, right? And if you're teaching pad level, you're coaching pad level, and I'm not here to say there's anything wrong with that, but what's the first thing that's making contact? It's the head, it's the frontal lobe, okay? So it allows us to make this game safer, and what we've seen is we've been even more powerful, and our performance has improved. And I put a picture of Mike Webster. Now, Webster was the best center of all time, maybe, all right? And here's great pad level, okay? Flat back, he's getting that guy moved. But what's the first thing on that defender? It's his head. Second thing is, if he rips off this block, shoot, Mike Webster might be right on his face, and that guy might be tagging the ball carrier. All right, and I put a clip on here to back it up, all right, because I got a couple guys right here that look good, they don't look good. Okay, so here's Landon, here's that 78. We'll see again here in a second, all right? But here he is, you know, he's pushing his dad's van. Now, if he pushed up here with 345, his dad would get pissed because he'd crinkle in the sheet metal there. So he's down on the bumper, okay? I just saw a guy push a semi-truck with 345s, and he's pushing a van, okay? Here's why we don't believe in pad level right here. This is Slippery Rock. This was week 1 a year ago. Here's basically all 4 guys. Their block separation technique, we call it a push-pull, all right? Almost in unison. It's an RPO, so we can't see the whole thing. But check this out, guys. Check this out right here. Let me get it right there, okay? All 3 guys, right when we go to break their leverage, it's a push and a pull. Some people call it a snatch, whatever you want to call it, right? But if your weight forward, if your pads are down and flat back, you're going to be on the ground, okay? And watch what happens here. 78, start with him. He gets pulled, but he arches his back and he gets back to position a little bit. 72 gets pulled, gets his feet back underneath, surges his hips. He's in good shape. Watch 69. He gets pulled, all right? His back is too flat. He's on the ground. All right, that guy's disconnected from the block, okay? Last thing I'm going to talk to you about here really quickly is the arch, is the upper body part of this, okay? Most complex joint in the body is the spine. We use it as the arch, the Roman arch. We know the arch is the strongest architectural shape there is, okay? On those old arches, they've lasted for years. Why? Because those blocks were made, you know, with these little kind of angles on them where gravity pushes them together, and they actually become stronger together, all right? They're unbreakable, okay? That's the same thing we want in our spine, is that arch, all right? And that arch makes that spine rigid, okay? When we get that big butt, big chest, and we call it a squatter's arch, big butt, big chest, you know, it's kind of like, you know, the on Twitter, you see the twerking, right? It's the butt out, chest out, okay? It's like somebody flushes the toilet while you're in the shower and the cold water comes down, and you stick your chest out. That's the position we want to be in. That's your body saying, I'm rigid, I'm ready, I'm strong, okay? And also the neck. We want to arch in the neck because it's the same thing, okay? Gravity pushes those things together, becomes more rigid, it protects the neck, okay? Without an arch, okay, if my back is perfectly flat, there's going to be force of all that glute, ham, and quad, all that stuff we just talked about, all that force developing through the ground, up through the body, it's going to leak out. And even worse, I see guys play with that hunchback. Now the force is definitely leaking out. Okay, so you could squat 500 pounds, but if you play with a hunchback, by the time it gets to the defender, it might be 250 pounds. Okay, it's going to leak out. But if it's arch, big butt, big chest, you're not going to lose any force coming through the center of the body. Okay, so it's the position of stability. The other thing it does when I got a big butt, big chest is it puts tension, right? Especially when the butt's out, it puts tension on the glute ham tie-in right there. Okay, the bottom of the glute, the butt muscle, and the top of the hamstring. And that allows my hip to surge. That allows me to put force in the ground and drive down, okay? If I'm hunched up, all right, If I'm hunched up, that butt comes up, I can't use my hips the most effective way. Okay, so it's a joint centration thing too, putting our joints in alignment so I can have the most force. Okay, watch 53 here. 53 was a former walk-on at the last place I had, just one of the smartest, best football players I've coached. So now he's playing against a dude. This nose over here, 99, played at Indiana, started games in the Big Ten, grad transfer, right? So 53 gets knocked back, all right? If you watch this, 53 gets knocked back in the backfield because this guy's a dude he's playing, all right? Well, watch what happens, okay? 53, he gets his arch, okay? He gets shin angles back in the ground. He puts force back in the ground, and then he's able to drive him back the other side of the line of scrimmage, and when he goes to reach for the ball carrier, he gets a great finish, okay? So I'll just show you that one time full speed here. Gets knocked back, arch, okay, hip surge, drive him back off the line of scrimmage. All right, well, 72, great job zoning up. There's the pace, all right? There's the rhythm of the feet on the second level, all right? Right there, stays connected, a little bit of a hip surge, okay? You see the feet are tight together, but it gets back to base and stagger, 345s, and he's able to mirror him laterally and drive him vertically, all right? Mirror him laterally and drive him vertically, and we get the ball out for a big one, okay? Right guard right here. We've got a base scheme, man scheme on the backside. I think we got to insert on the backside of zone here, inside zone, all right? So he's getting flattened out right here. Okay, yeah, he's removing him out of his gap and all that. That's pretty good, okay? But he's got an arch in the back, okay? And once that defender goes to grab, he's able to surge his hips and drive vertically, right? Right there, now he's able to drive vertically, okay? So that arch in the back allows my hips to surge. I can break his leverage, okay? Let's watch 72 here. Left guard again, backside of inside zone. Here's that dude again. Here's 99, all right? Watch right here. He breaks his leverage, all right? And now he doesn't break his leverage necessarily vertically. He kind of breaks it rotationally or laterally, all right? He torques him kind of out of his gap, all right? Moves him out of his gap, and then he's able to drive on up. Same thing with 78 here on the backside. He's going to zone up to the backside linebacker, all right? 345's base and stagger. He tries to button press to get off that block to redirect, but because of the 345s you see right here, great shin angle, he's able to redirect, knock him on up the field, outplay him, okay? And then I'm just going to finish here with one of the things everyone asks, well, what's the drill you use, coach? What's the drill? We call it demeanor drill. It's the old adaptation of Jimmy McNally's duck walk drill, okay? But we are just rhythm of the feet, force in the ground. We're going to go forward and back, all right? 345's base and stagger, big butt, big chest, arm carry, chin up, all right? Forward and back, training, developing that skill to stay in that position of power forward and back, okay? Forward and back. Now, I might be out in front of them, moving them. Obviously, we're in quarantine here, lockdown, so they're doing it on their own, okay? And then I'll put a guy out in front of him, no contact. He'll back up, come forward. He'll mirror him, all right? I might put a hand shield. We do this, some version of this drill every single day, all right? And then he's going to move laterally. Okay, so he's going to forward back, and then he's going to move laterally. Feet are always apart, okay? You're not going to see boards at my practice. You're not going to see a shoot, okay? Because got Lubbers Field right behind me, 17,000 screaming fans. There's no boards on there on Saturday night. There's no shoot, okay? So we're gonna train that way we play, all right? His feet are always apart. Why? Because he's always having base and stagger because he's pushing off his backside leg, sticking his call side leg. His feet are always apart. He's able to maintain that position of power laterally. And then finally, we're going to do it rotationally too. All right, that rotational plane. All right, and that's another clinic for another day with torque right there.